everybody. This is basically done, but there's a couple things I wanted to change. Some has to do here. I'm also painting the sides. Hey, I'm also painting the sides for my niece so that she can just hang this when she gets it. So I had to wait for the other sides. This side and this side has already been painted, so I had to wait for this side and this side to, for that to dry so that I could turn it this way and paint it. So we'll have a little bit of fun doing that. I haven't been live for a while, so I just wanted to pop in while I was doing this and paint and talk with you guys and see how everything is. I'm going to be recording an art chat tomorrow with Dick Atkins, and Dick is a movie producer and a friend, and so we're going to be talking about writing a script and then taking it from the script and what are all the kind of steps to get it to actually being released in a movie theater. Since Dick is a producer, we'll be talking mostly about the production side of that, but he has some experience with some of the other stuff, so we'll talk about that a little bit. I'll be recording that. I'm mixing up some colors over here, so we'll be recording that, and this R2. And I'll put it out on my YouTube channel and my Buzzsprout channel and all of the other iHeart, all of the other places, Apple. I don't know, there's a zillion places where the podcast goes. So post a link out on my Patreon page. I'll post a link out on Facebook and MeWe. So make sure that you look for that. Looking forward to talking with Dick. I haven't had a chance to talk with him in a while, so it'll be fun to talk with that. Of course, Joanna, his wife, is an actress and a dancer, and she teaches some of the kids, and different things about dances and things around the world, and it's really, really kind of nice. She's also a big fan of the Blind series, so hi to Joanna and hi to Dick Atkins. Missed a call with Julie Gallo this morning, which kind of made me feel bad, but hopefully Julie and I can catch up later. And little girl just joined us. Guess it was too noisy downstairs. We're having some work done on the house. Nothing new there, is there, guys? So, yeah, so you'll hear some voices in the background. No big deal. This is the kind of thing you work through when you're painting. So, okay, so I got the sky color painted up. I'm going to do this over here. I know you really can't see this, but the part that I wanted to show you was the glazing part over here anyway, so that's why I have it set up for there. So, you basically get to watch me walk back and forth. So, the sky color that I'm putting on here is a little bit darker. And you know what? It's going to be facing the ceiling. And I wanted it to be a little bit darker too to help with some color matchups and stuff. And I have to come in and put in some green and stuff. So I'm not going to go to a lot of detail. This is just to finish off, if you will, the painting, so that she doesn't have to have it framed. And she can always choose to frame it if she wants to. There's no big deal. If she decides to frame it. Because there's not a lot of effort and time that have gone into just, painting it. I mean, I could have chosen, for example, to paint the whole thing black, just to kind of give it a frame, if you will, that way. But some people choose to do it just carrying the colors off to the side, give it a little more interest, and some folks you know, paint it just black. And of course, if you're framing it, you don't have to paint it at all. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of white just to play with this a little bit over here. Of course, once you're an artist, you always have to play with it, right? Let's see what else is going on. Got a phone call that I need to make to Jennifer McChristian. So if Jennifer tunes in, I'm going to be calling you soon, Jen. Some things I want to talk. I want to do a podcast with her. And also want to talk to her about the possibility of doing a workshop here in Asheville. Got some calls into some other folks. So I've got some, there's a lot of really nice pull-offs on, you know, overlooks, I guess is what they call them, on the Blue Ridge Parkway up here that, you know, you can get, if we carpool, we could get some really nice plein air places to paint. So I wanted to talk to Jennifer about that. Okay, that's good. I'm going to throw some green in over here just to carry some tree limb stuff around. And let's see who else have I talked to? Oh, at one of the Christmas parties that they had here. Sorry, I didn't know if somebody fell off a ladder down there or if it was a sneeze. At one of the Christmas parties that we had here, I ran into a lady who is the executive director of the Asheville Art Museum. And I got a call into her. Actually, I have an email into her. I'm going to call her here in a few days when things settle down from everybody getting back from the holidays. Oh, little girl just rolled a rug ball out by my feet. She's so cute. I want to get in touch with her, have basically an art talk with her on air so that she can tell us about the newly renovated, which she was a big part of, art museum here in Asheville. And also ran into someone who was the art director of she actually lives here, was the art director of the Auburn University Art Museum. So wanted to talk with her a little bit on air too. As you know, part of the thing that I do with my art chat is try to talk with folks and it can provide a little bit of perspective, if you will, historically, so that, you know, years from now, when we're all dead and gone and my voice is still living through the podcast, that, you know, we have some, the folks that come after us have some linked to history. So, for example, just think about if Claude Monet had been on podcasts and all of the insight that he could have given us. You know, if we would have had all this, you know, ability just to turn on a podcast and listen to Claude Monet or Renoir or Da Vinci or any number of artists you want to mention or talk about, you know, to have that ability to do that. I mean, so that's what I kind of do with the podcast, is I just kind of that was a little girl hitting her ball down the steps, if you're wondering what those thumps were. Okay. So, just want to take a little bit of the color that's there and pull it down and around so that it just feels like it's wrapping around. And it's just a brush stroke here and there. Nothing really fancy. There we go. Okay, so that takes care of that side. One of the other things I wanted to do was just kind of, I don't like how bright these windows are. And I know I've got some Spanish moss in front of them, but they just jump out way too much. So I'm going to glaze them. So that they tone down a bit. And you're going, oh my God, what did she just do? But this is the fun part of glazing. So, a lot of times you might think, oh no, that was way too much. Don't like it now. But like I said, this is the fun part of glazing. It's all dry. So what I'm doing is I'm just removing a little bit of the pavement out of what I put in there. Okay, so now it just kind of fades back in there really well. Kind of warm it up a little bit too. Feel like I'm in a foreign country. Our handyman are from the Ukraine, so it's kind of nice to hear them speak. I kind of just sit there and listen to them every once in a while. Not that I have any idea what they're saying. I certainly don't, but it is very nice to hear a foreign language every now and then. Okay. So I'm just kind of playing with a couple different colors. Just to add some interest to it. I kind of like that. And the windows over here on this side as well. Just kinda there we go. I need purple-ish color. And I might need to jump over and get a red. Let's do black. Just curious. Okay, one of the other things that I don't like is this connection here. And I need to grab a couple colors out of my cabinet over here. And I put them in a cabinet so the cats don't get into them. Where is it? White. Let's see. Here's a cad red. That'll help with the blue. And this is the one I was looking for, is a bleached titanium oxide. And I'll put some of that down as well. Hi, everybody. I can't really see your names, but thanks for dropping in. Oh, there's Dick. I was talking about you earlier. I don't know if you heard anything about that. Hi, Kim. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Debbie. So, yeah, I was telling them about our podcast coming up, Dick. So, okay, so I'm going to play around with this. Add just a touch of this red back in. I want to be a little bit warmer right through there. Yeah, I think I'm like that. Okay, and like I said, I want to break up this. It's just looked like it has a hiccup here, so I want to break that up. I don't like that. And a little bit of red in there, a little bit of blue, a little more blue, and some white. Okay, I'm just gonna I'm just kind of scumbling in a dry, over the dry area. Okay, looking good. I can't see if you guys have any questions, but if you want to try and type some in, I might see if I can see them here before we get done. So I'm thinking that this is pretty much finished on the front side. Let's see if I see another connection I want to break. There we go. Thinking of shapes and different things. It's kind of messy through there. Don't want to overdo that. Okay, one of the other things I wanted to do was kind of make this path not so white, even though it is white, pretty much just sand. But so again, I'm going to glaze the cadmium yellow here, and then I'm going to wipe it off with a paper towel. Okay.
That's why it's kind of like, I don't have 100% like,
So now I'm just coming back and adding in some lavender into that area. I'll just put in a little bit. There you go, girl. I almost trip over my cat. Hi. So still just glazing a little bit with some color on the brush, just to add some other interest, kind of also take down a value here or there. Okay, so the next thing, before I call this completely done, is I'm going to finish off the other side with the colors that are down here. So, let's see. It has to have more glue in it. Oops. So used to painting with palette knife, when I start mixing colors with my brush, I should know better, right? I know, girl. You being a good girl? My cat's sitting over on the side wondering who I'm talking to. So, kind of fun. Okay, and I need kind of a purple color. Purple color. Probably need some more white. Whoa! That was dark. Dark purple, not very good. White out. There we go. That's kind of interesting. I wish I'd kind of set this up some way where you all could talk with me while I'm painting and answer your questions and stuff. Kind of strange. So let's see, what else can we do? What else can I talk about? Who else do I? So I talked about the lady who's the art, used to be the director for the Auburn University Art Museum there. So hope to very soon get her on an art chat. Maybe start highlighting some of the other artists here in the Asheville area as well. So they have a huge art district down in downtown Asheville. Of course, artist space isn't cheap. I didn't like that was too linear. There we go. So yeah, so kind of different interesting things that I'm discovering as we get more settled here in Asheville. I haven't run across any names that, you know how it is in the art business, right? Any names that are familiar to me. We kind of all run in our little circles, so makes it kind of hard. I was hoping I would run into some folks I knew or something like that, but I have not been able to see anyway. So if anybody's watching this from the Asheville area later on YouTube or whatever, drop me a note to say hi. Because I'm not recognizing very many names, so it would be nice to meet some folks. So again, just being very loose on this side over here with the 3 different colors, really. This is going to be hanging in the bottom, so it was a little more visual, a little more noticeable. Hope everybody had a great holiday season with the Hanukkah and Ramadan and Hanukkah and Christmas, all the different holidays. Boxing Day, I guess, was a big thing this year. I saw a lot of posts on Twitter or something about Boxing Day, and maybe it was my Canadian friends that were posting things. This side's looking very abstractish. Kind of interesting. So, getting pretty close to coming to the end of this session anyway. Very yellow. There we go. That takes care of that. So that's basically it. I hope that Allison likes it. Can't flip it and keep it on its side, but because of the top being wet and the bottom being wet, but there we go. So, yep, liking that window stuff a lot better on that side. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is transfer this over to another easel and let it dry. And we'll talk about this just real quickly. I think I'm used to seeing everything not the right way up. So if you remember, this was our my Ocean Waves one that I blocked in with burnt sienna. Between writing on the Blind series on book 5, trying to get that done, and still stuff with houses, I haven't really been able to get on here and paint everything with holidays and everything too that's been going on. But I've been studying this every time I come up, and I like basically where this is going. I want to try and use a number of, I'm going to change my palette up, I'm thinking. So that's one of the things that I've been thinking about with all the different color blues that I have. And I'm pulling out colors that I'm going to show you here in a second, so hang with me. Okay, I may have some other additional blues. Again, this is the Pacific. So I have ultramarine, let's see if I can stand back here and show you, ultramarine blue here, so you can see that blue. And then I've got this Green Lake, which with mixing may turn out to be kind of interesting. This cobalt teal. I have another cobalt teal. This is Michael's first cobalt teal. And then the Night's Blue Deep. And then this is the Lapis. And then I got some different Viridians and things like that. But I'm going to try and stay away from being too heavy on the greens. And I still have some stuff in boxes that I haven't pulled out yet that I need to get into and look, because I know I have more than just those 4 greens. But what I'm going to do is change the palette up. I'm going to be mostly blue. Blue shades, that cobalt teal in there, possibly the Green Lake or the Viridian or the Terravert. And then think about its complement, which is orange. So I'll put cadmium or permanent orange on my palette, maybe in alizarin crimson, so that I can get into maybe some of a purplish color. There's a Caribbean color somewhere in there that I also, little girl, you need to stay out of there. Come on, you know better. That's a no-no. So we'll play with that, the colors, and like I said, I'm changing my palette. So one of the things I think I'm going to do is the next time that I go live is I'm going to actually set this up so that you can watch me mix the paints up that I'm going to use for the ocean colors. And also, I don't want to use just black for the rocks, even though that's going to be the darkest value is going to be these rocks, except for in areas where light is hitting it, because the light is coming from this direction. So I may mix of my own blacks with quotation marks around it. And then we have these very light areas where, you know, I will make sure that some of the colors, like I may leave yellow off of my palette altogether. Still kind of playing with that because I want to challenge myself with the mixing on this. The other thing I want to challenge myself with is hard edges. I don't want a lot of hard edges. I'm kind of thinking maybe more of a misty feeling to it. So that means that all of the edges need to be softer. So I'm going to play with that as well. And the other challenge that I'm going to do with this for me is it's going to be all in palette knife from this point on, no brushes. So when you start talking about hard edges and you're using palette knives, that gets a little interesting. So that might be kind of interesting to watch. So that's the plan for the next live update. Thanks for stopping in, everybody. Let me look real quick, see if you had any questions or anything. Sorry about that. That was me untying this, trying to get this pulled out so I can see. So just so you can get a closer look of the painting. There you go. So that's the one that we'll be working on next. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time. Hopefully I'll paint. There's supposed to rain here from Friday all the way to like January 19th. So hopefully I will be up here painting live with you guys and you can watch me finish off this painting. So we'll see you next time. Bye.